My name is Dana Harrison, and what I'm about to share with you changed everything I thought I knew about life, death, and the city I called home. On January 10, 2025, in the midst of the raging wildfires that consumed California, I didn't just have a brush with death. I actually died for 8 minutes and 16 seconds. During that time, I saw Jesus Christ and felt things I can't fully explain, but Jesus Christ showed me truths that changed me forever. I was commanded to share it with the world. What I learned from Jesus Christ will shake you to your core. The day it happened felt unremarkable at first. I woke up to the same thick, smoky air and the distant hum of helicopters battling the flames. I was at my desk, engrossed in a design project, when I noticed the sunlight dimming further than usual. Glancing out the window, I saw the familiar orange tint deepening. The world outside felt suffocating, the sky a mirror to the tension I couldn't quite place within myself. As the afternoon wore on, a strange sense of unease began to build. A heaviness in my chest, as though the air itself carried a weight too great to bear. I dismissed it as stress or the poor air quality, but deep down something felt off. By the time evening came, the discomfort had transformed into a sharp, overwhelming pain. I tried to stand to call for help, but my legs gave out beneath me. My vision blurred, the edges of the room fading into darkness. The last thing I remember was the sound of my neighbor pounding on my door. A muffled voice calling my name as I crumpled to the floor. Unbeknownst to me, I had suffered a sudden cardiac arrest, my body succumbing to the strain of an undiagnosed heart condition. As the world around me disappeared into silence, I had no way of knowing that this moment would mark the end of life as I knew it, and the beginning of something beyond comprehension. But that was just scratching the surface. The darkness was unlike anything I'd ever experienced, not terrifying but profound, infinite. It wasn't the absence of light, it was the presence of something deeper, something alive. For a fleeting moment, I thought that must be the end, that my existence had dissolved into nothingness. But then I became aware of myself, not my body but me, my essence, my soul. I realized I was no longer lying on the floor of my apartment. Instead, I found myself floating above the scene, watching as paramedics worked frantically to revive me. My neighbor Sarah stood by the door, her face pale and streaked with tears, clutching her phone as she relayed details to the dispatcher. The surreal nature of the moment didn't frighten me. Instead, I felt a strange calmness, a detachment that came with the knowledge that my suffering had ended. I could see everything so clearly, the effort, the urgency, the strain on the paramedics' faces as they fought to bring me back. But what struck me most was the invisible force binding everyone in the room together. It was as if I could feel their emotions. Sarah's fear, the paramedics' determination, even the faint pulse of hope emanating from somewhere deep within me. I wanted to tell them I was okay, that they didn't need to be afraid, but my words dissolved before they could reach the surface. Then the light appeared. It started as a faint glow in the periphery of my vision, but it grew brighter and closer, enveloping me in warmth that defied anything I'd known. The light wasn't just illumination. It was love, pure, unfiltered, and overwhelming. It called to me not with words, but with a magnetic pull that felt both natural and irresistible. As I moved toward the light, I became aware of a tunnel, its walls shimmering with colors I couldn't name. The movement felt effortless, as though I were being carried on a current of peace and purpose. The world I'd left behind began to fade, replaced by a sense of rightness that transcended anything I'd ever felt. Emerging from the tunnel, I found myself standing at the threshold of a divine realm, a place that defied description, yet felt profoundly familiar. The air shimmered with life, the colors richer and more vibrant than anything I'd ever seen. I didn't know what awaited me, but one truth became clear. This was only the beginning of the journey, a gateway to revelations that would change everything I thought I knew about life, death, and the meaning of it all. Emerging into the realm of light, I was immediately enveloped by a presence so powerful, yet so gentle, that it brought me to a state of awe. The air itself seemed alive, humming with an energy that resonated deep within my soul. Before me stood a figure, a being of light whose radiance defied earthly comprehension. Though I couldn't discern a face in the traditional sense, I knew with an unshakable certainty that I was in the presence of the divine. The being exuded an overwhelming sense of love, a love so pure and unconditional that it dissolved every shred of fear and doubt I carried. I felt as though every part of me, the good, the flawed, the broken, was fully seen and embraced. It was as if this being didn't just know who I was but understood me completely, more deeply than I had ever understood myself. Without speaking a word, the being communicated directly to my consciousness. Dana, the voice resonated not with sound, but with meaning so profound it vibrated through my very essence. You are loved. You are safe. And you have been brought here for a purpose. Tears, not physical but emotional, poured through me. I had so many questions, so much fear. But the divine being answered before I could even articulate my thoughts. You are concerned for your city, your people. You see the fires as a force of destruction, but they are more than that. They are a mirror, reflecting humanity's choices and the lessons yet to be learned. A wave of sorrow washed over me as I thought of Los Angeles. The beauty of its hills now scorched, its skies heavy with smoke, and the people caught in its relentless grip. I tried to protest, to explain that the fires were a tragedy, a senseless disaster. But the being's response was gentle and patient. What you see as chaos is an opportunity. Every flame, every ember carries meaning, a message meant to awaken those willing to listen. You must see beyond the destruction to understand the truth. In that moment, I felt the weight of something profound settling upon me. A calling, a responsibility I hadn't anticipated. The being's light seemed to grow brighter, illuminating not just the space around me but the corners of my soul I'd long ignored. You have been chosen to carry this message back to your world. It is not an easy task, but it is necessary. Before I could respond, the realm around me began to shift. The light seemed to expand, revealing scenes of unimaginable clarity and depth. I knew instinctively that I was about to witness something far greater than myself. A truth that would forever alter the way I saw my life, my city, and the world. The light shifted, and suddenly I was no longer in the peaceful realm. Instead, I found myself standing on the edge of a vast panoramic view of Los Angeles, engulfed in flames. The sight was breathtaking and heartbreaking all at once. The hills were ablaze, the skyline obscured by thick plumes of smoke, and the streets, usually teeming with life, were eerily empty. It was as though I were seeing the city's pain manifested in fire. But this was no ordinary vision. As I looked closer, I began to see something more. Threads of light and shadow intertwining throughout the city, connecting people, places, and moments in intricate patterns. The divine being's voice resonated within me, guiding my understanding. This is not just a vision of destruction. It is a reflection of humanity's choices, both individual and collective. The flames seemed to dance with purpose, and as I focused on them, I saw scenes playing out within the fire itself. Factories spewing smoke into the air, forests being cleared for profit, rivers choked with waste. I saw greed and negligence etched into the landscape, choices made not out of malice but out of a disconnect from the greater whole. The earth, the being continued, is not separate from you. It feels your actions, your emotions, your intentions. When humanity forgets its connection to creation, the imbalance grows and the earth responds, not in anger but in a call to awaken. I watched as the vision shifted again, this time showing people, individuals and groups, reacting to the fires. Some were fighting to save their homes, others were helping strangers, and some were succumbing to despair. The threads of light connecting them pulsed with varying intensities, reflecting acts of love, compassion, and fear. Every choice ripples outward, the being said. Every act of love strengthens the web, and every act of division weakens it. The enormity of what I was seeing was almost too much to bear. Are we being punished? I asked, my thoughts trembling with the weight of the question. The being's response was immediate and firm. No, humanity is not being punished. The fires are not condemnation but correction, a chance to see clearly and choose differently. As the vision unfolded, I saw glimpses of hope. People coming together, communities rebuilding not just their homes but their relationships with one another and the earth. The fires are a wake-up call, the being said, a manifestation of deeper imbalances, but also an invitation to heal. It is not too late. As the flames began to fade from the vision, I felt a renewed sense of purpose stirring within me. The message was clear. Humanity had the power to change, to reconnect with love and with the earth, but it would require courage, compassion, and collective action. And somehow, I knew that sharing this vision was the first step in that journey. The shimmering light around me shifted again, and I found myself standing in a vast celestial hall unlike anything I could have imagined. The space was alive with energy, a blend of colors, patterns, and sounds that seemed to hum in harmony with my very being. It was not a physical structure, yet it exuded an undeniable sense of presence and purpose. This was the Hall of Learning, the divine being explained, a realm where souls come to understand the deeper truths of their lives and the collective journey of humanity. Before me, luminous orbs floated, each one pulsing with light and carrying within it what I instinctively knew were life reviews. The divine being gestured, and one orb floated closer, revealing scenes from the life of a firefighter battling the wildfires in Los Angeles. I watched as he risked his life to save others, pushing through exhaustion, heat, and smoke to rescue a family trapped in their home. The firefighter's selflessness radiated through the vision, his courage creating ripples of light that spread far beyond the immediate act. "This is the power of love in action," the divine being said. "Each act of kindness, no matter how small, amplifies the light within the web of existence. It touches lives in ways the doer may never see." The orb shifted, and I was shown another scene. A woman organizing a community shelter for evacuees. She worked tirelessly, comforting the displaced, providing food and blankets, and even finding a lost pet for a tearful child. Her actions, too, sent ripples of light outward, connecting with others in profound and unseen ways. But then the tone of the vision changed. Another orb floated into view, revealing scenes of apathy and neglect. I saw a man dismissing the idea of conserving water during a drought, his actions leading to unnecessary waste. I watched as corporations made decisions motivated by profit, ignoring the environmental consequences that exacerbated the fires. These moments of disregard created ripples of shadow, dulling the light in the web and contributing to the imbalance that the earth was now reflecting. The divine being's voice resonated within me, gentle but firm. Humanity was entrusted with the care of this planet, yet many have forgotten their role as stewards. Every choice, whether made with love or indifference, impacts the whole. The fires are not a punishment but a reflection, a chance for humanity to remember its purpose. I felt a deep sense of responsibility as I absorbed these lessons. The Hall of Learning was not a place of judgment, but of understanding. The divine being emphasized that every soul has the capacity for change and growth. "It begins with awareness," the voice said. "Awareness of your connection to each other, to the earth, and to the divine. From awareness comes transformation." The Hall of Learning faded, and in its place I found myself suspended in an endless expanse of shimmering threads, glowing with an iridescent light that pulsed like a heartbeat. This was the web of existence, the divine being explained, a living, interconnected tapestry that bound all things together. Every thread represented a soul, a choice, a moment in time, and as I gazed upon it, I saw the intricate beauty of creation in its entirety. The divine being guided me closer to the web, and I began to see how each thread vibrated in response to the actions and emotions of those connected to it. When one thread glowed with love, it sent waves of light cascading through the surrounding threads, uplifting the entire web. Conversely, when a thread dimmed with fear, anger, or neglect, the darkness spread, creating pockets of shadow that disrupted the harmony. Every thought, every action, every choice ripples outward, the divine being said. Nothing exists in isolation. The fires you witnessed are not merely physical phenomena. They are the result of countless ripples of imbalance, disconnection, and disregard. The web responded to the divine being's words, illustrating the interconnectedness of human behavior and natural consequences. I saw scenes unfolding within the threads. A consumer carelessly discarding plastic waste that found its way into the ocean. Factories pumping toxins into the air. People exploiting the Earth's resources without consideration for future generations. These actions dimmed the web's light, contributing to the imbalance that manifested as natural disasters, including the fires ravaging Los Angeles. But then I was shown another side. Threads began to glow with acts of love, forgiveness, and compassion. I saw a family planting trees in a fire-scarred area, their actions symbolizing hope and renewal. I watched a group of strangers forming a human chain to rescue someone trapped by floodwaters, their collective effort illuminating the web with radiant light. I saw individuals reconciling with estranged loved ones, their forgiveness creating ripples that healed not only their relationships but the threads connected to them. The divine being's voice carried a message of hope. The web is resilient. Love is the force that restores balance, heals wounds, and uplifts all of creation. Every act of love, no matter how small, strengthens the web and counters the shadows. I realized then the profound power of choice. Humanity's collective actions could either strengthen the web, bringing harmony and renewal, or weaken it, perpetuating imbalance and suffering. The fires in Los Angeles were a wake-up call, a reflection of the consequences of disconnection, but also an opportunity for transformation. As the vision of the web faded, the divine being's final words lingered in my heart. Never underestimate the power of love and forgiveness. They are the keys to healing not just the earth, but the soul of humanity itself. Though the visions of the fires and their ripple effects weighed heavily on my spirit, the divine being's presence radiated a reassurance that filled me with hope. Redemption is always possible, the being said, its voice a symphony of love and compassion. No soul, no community, and no planet is ever beyond healing. Every challenge holds within it the seed of transformation. The shimmering threads of the web began to pulse with a brighter light, and I saw scenes that contrasted sharply with the devastation of the earlier visions. These were moments of humanity rising above adversity, turning pain into purpose and division into unity. In one vision, I saw a group of people working together to rebuild a fire-ravaged neighborhood. They cleared debris, planted new trees, and embraced one another, their collective effort creating waves of light that rippled outward. This is the power of unity, the divine being said. When individuals come together with love and shared purpose, they not only heal their immediate surroundings but inspire others to do the same. The vision shifted, revealing a family who had lost their home to the fires. Instead of succumbing to despair, they started a grassroots organization to provide support to other displaced families. Their efforts grew, drawing volunteers from across the city, and their acts of compassion began to mend the emotional wounds caused by the fires. Adversity can be a catalyst for greatness, the being explained. It is in the face of challenge that the light within humanity shines brightest. I also saw individuals making personal choices that carried profound significance. A young woman who once dismissed environmental concerns became an advocate for sustainable living, inspiring her community to adopt practices that honored the earth. A man who had lived in isolation opened his heart to his neighbors, creating connections that brought healing to his soul and theirs. Each act, no matter how small, added to the collective light, weaving threads of hope into the fabric of existence. The fires, the divine being said, are not a punishment but an invitation. They call humanity to awaken to its divine potential and to remember the sacred connection between all living things. Redemption is not about erasing the past but about transforming it into something greater. As I absorbed these lessons, I felt a profound shift within myself. The weight of sorrow was balanced by the realization that hope and redemption are always within reach. Humanity had the power to turn the flames of destruction into the light of renewal, and I knew this truth needed to be shared. The divine being's presence grew even more radiant, its light filling every corner of my consciousness. Now is the time for action, it said, the urgency in its voice unmistakable. Humanity stands at a crossroads. The choices made today will determine the future of your planet and your souls. I felt the weight of these words not as a burden but as a call to purpose. The being's guidance was clear, its message resonating with a truth that could not be ignored. Reconnection is the key. Humanity must reconnect with spiritual truths, with the earth, and with one another. Only through this reconnection can balance be restored. The visions continued, showing practical ways to heal the imbalances that had led to the fires and other crises. I saw individuals reducing waste, planting trees, and advocating for policies that honored the environment. Communities came together to share resources, support one another, and rebuild in ways that were sustainable and inclusive. Each choice, each action, sent ripples of light through the web of existence, countering the shadows with hope. Compassion must guide every decision, the being emphasized. It is not enough to care for oneself, humanity must care for the whole. Acts of love and kindness, no matter how small, are the seeds of transformation. The urgency of the message deepened as the being revealed potential futures. One path showed a world where humanity embraced its role as stewards of the earth, creating a harmonious existence where technology and nature thrived together. The skies were clear, the forests lush, and communities flourished in mutual respect and cooperation. But another path revealed a darker outcome, a world where humanity's disconnection persisted, leading to greater devastation. The air was choked with smoke, the oceans polluted, and the light within the web dimmed. The future is not set in stone, the being said. It is shaped by the choices made in each moment. Finally, the being addressed me directly. Your task is to share what you have seen and learned. Speak of the urgency but also of the hope. Remind humanity that every thought, every action, and every choice carries the power to heal or harm. Encourage them to choose love, compassion, and responsibility. As the visions faded, I felt a surge of purpose rising within me. The divine being's parting words echoed in my soul. Remember, change begins with one. A single act of love can light the way for many. Carry this truth back to your world and know that you are never alone. When I awoke, the clarity of the message remained vivid in my heart. The fires in Los Angeles were more than a crisis. They were a call to action, an opportunity for humanity to awaken and transform. And I knew that my journey was only beginning. The transition back to my body was both gentle and jarring, like being carried on a wave only to crash back into the shoreline. One moment, I was immersed in the radiant presence of the divine, surrounded by the web of existence and the overwhelming truths it revealed. The next, I felt myself being pulled, a steady force drawing me away from the celestial realm and back toward the earthly plane. At first, I resisted, desperate to stay in the presence of such love and clarity. But the divine being's voice, now a steady hum in my consciousness, reassured me. It is not yet your time. Your purpose lies ahead. Those words became an anchor, guiding me through the transition and reminding me that my journey was far from over. The sensation of returning to my body was strange and disorienting. I became aware of its weight, the dull ache of my chest, and the rhythmic beeping of monitors nearby. My eyelids felt heavy, and my limbs seemed disconnected, as though I were slipping into an ill-fitting suit. I blinked, struggling to focus, and the blurry forms of the medical team came into view. Their voices, once distant and muffled, grew louder, more distinct. "She's back," someone said, relief thick in their tone. Another voice called for vitals, while a nurse leaned over me, her face a mixture of exhaustion and joy. "Dana," she said softly, "you're okay. You've been through a lot, but you're going to be fine." As I processed her words, fragments of memory flooded my mind. The fire-tinged skies, the divine presence, the visions of interconnectedness and renewal. I had been clinically dead, gone from this world for several minutes, but I carried with me the knowledge of an eternity. The contrast between the chaos of the hospital room and the serene perfection of the divine realm was stark, but I didn't feel overwhelmed. Instead, I felt alive in a way I never had before. Tears streamed down my face. Not from fear or sadness, but from the sheer intensity of what I had experienced. My heart swelled with gratitude for the second chance I had been given. The purpose that had been impressed upon me in the divine realm burned brightly within, igniting a renewed determination to share what I had seen and learned. Even as the doctors explained my condition, a cardiac arrest brought on by an underlying heart issue, and the incredible luck of my survival, I knew it wasn't luck. I had been sent back for a reason. And as I lay there, surrounded by the hum of machines and the concern of caregivers, I promised myself I wouldn't waste this second chance. Returning to life after such an experience changes everything. The small grievances and daily worries that once consumed me seemed trivial now, eclipsed by the enormity of the truths I had witnessed. The fires in Los Angeles had been a catalyst for my journey, but I now saw them as part of a much larger story. A story of humanity's potential for destruction, healing, and transformation. The first days after my return were a blur of medical tests, explanations, and cautious congratulations from the hospital staff. But my mind was fixed on the mission the divine being had entrusted to me, to share the message of love, unity, and renewal. The fires were not just a physical phenomenon. They were a metaphor, a wake-up call for humanity to address the deeper imbalances within ourselves and our connection to the world. In the days and weeks that followed, I began speaking about my experience, first with close friends and family and later with larger groups. At first, I worried about how people would react. Would they dismiss my story as a hallucination, a fantasy born of oxygen deprivation? But as I shared, I saw the light of recognition in people's eyes, the stirring of something deeper within them. My words weren't just about me. They resonated because they spoke to a truth we all carry but often forget. I spoke of the interconnected web of existence, how every choice we make, whether to show kindness or indifference, to nurture the earth or exploit it, creates ripples that shape the world. I shared the vision of redemption, the reassurance that it is never too late to change, to heal, to love. And I emphasized the urgency of the moment. Humanity stands at a crossroads and the time for action is now. The fires in Los Angeles became a central metaphor in my message. I described them as both a reflection of humanity's neglect and a symbol of the transformative power of adversity. Just as the fires cleared the land, creating space for new growth, we too have the opportunity to rise from destruction and build something better, if we choose love, compassion, and unity. In my talks and writings, I always ended with a call to action. Love is not passive, I would say. It is an active choice made moment by moment. It is in the kindness we show to a stranger, the forgiveness we offer to those who hurt us, and the care we take to protect the earth. Every act of love, no matter how small, sends ripples of light through the universe. Together we can create a future of hope, healing, and harmony, but it begins with each of us. As I reflect on this journey, I know my experience was a gift, not just for me but for anyone willing to listen and act. The fires in Los Angeles were not the end of the story. They were the beginning of an awakening, a reminder that love is the most powerful force in existence and the key to transforming our world. The choice is ours. Will we let the flames consume us, or will we rise from the ashes and become the light? Want to hear more of this? Then click on the video on the right-hand side, which is even crazier.